What we do know as of today is that there is a mass grave in Oak Lawn Cemetery where we have no record of anyone being buried.
A big discovery, 11 bodies found in the search for victims from the Tulsa Race Massacre. What the next steps are today. The state's largest school district responds to allegations of misusing your tax dollars. Why Epic says mistakes were made but are being blown out of proportion.
Jamie Edens and Ryan Ward, a married couple from Tulsa, Oklahoma, both nurses who packed up their belongings and drove to New York City in April, where they worked tireless hours during those early days of the virus. And then in July, packed up, drove to Texas to do it again.
Honored at the World Series, now we're catching up with the Tulsa couple who threw out the first pitch with millions watching.
Covering news that matters. Fox 23 News This Morning starts right now.
Good morning, I'm Michelle Lynn. The time now is 4:30. A big discovery in the search for victims from the Tulsa Race Massacre. We're breaking down what happens next and how the community is honoring the lives of victims tonight. But first, meteorologist Megan McClellan is in the Fox 23 Severe Weather Center tracking a mild start. We'll enjoy a warm day ahead, Megan.
It is going to be a warm day. It's also going to be a very windy day. I'm already looking at winds on our Fox 23 Skyview network of tower cameras, waving that flag with a lot of sunshine moving in. Coming up in 10 minutes, I'm breaking down more about what I'm looking at with the warm and windy weather we'll see today.
In a developing story, archaeologists have uncovered 11 bodies during the search for mass graves from the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Fox 23's Naomi Kitt is live at Oak Lawn Cemetery with the next steps in the process.
Michelle, I was out here yesterday morning telling you all about the discovery of the first body. Now, crews have uncovered 10 more. At this point, they still do need to identify those remains, but it's potentially the first step in the process to bring closure and a sense of peace to these family members and relatives nearly 100 years later. I'm Naomi Kitt, Fox 23 News.
There's another area called the Clyde Eddy section of Oak Lawn Cemetery where archaeologists have done some core sampling. So far, it will be the next place they dig. Earlier this week, we brought you Fox 23 investigative reporter Janet Clark's exclusive interview with Eddy's son, Steve, about what his father witnessed after the massacre.
He and his cousin, a day or two afterwards, after the riots, came down here and just kind of snuck in and saw a pile of, I don't know, a pile of bodies, and they were digging this huge hole and just putting them in. And that had a profound effect on him. He never got over that, and especially he was a 10-year-old child at the time, and that he carried that with him all of his life, and he would tell his children about it and get very emotional about it.
You can see the rest of our story with Steve Eddy right now on the Fox 23 News app. Happening today, the Greenwood Arts and Cultural Society is remembering the ancestors who were murdered in the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. They're encouraging the public to join them for a candlelight vigil at Oak Lawn Cemetery to honor Greenwood's Black Wall Street and raise voices for the survivors and descendants. The event is set to begin at 7 tonight. The Tulsa County District Attorney confirms his office will not bring charges against those who painted Black Lives Matter without city permission on North Greenwood Avenue back in June. The Tulsa Police Department recommended state charges, but DA Steve Kunzweiler said he would not move forward with misdemeanor or felony charges. TPD also recommends charges for this month's street painting outside City Hall. New details this morning as Epic Charter Schools, Oklahoma's largest school district, is moving forward with a hearing that could lead to a vote to terminate their contract. Fox 23's Matt Harry is live outside Epic in East Tulsa with why board members want this hearing.
Michelle, Epic board members voted to move forward with this hearing. They say it's an opportunity to share their side of the story. Live in Tulsa, covering news that matters, Samantha Howery, Fox 23 News.
At 4:37 new this morning, a fire in East Tulsa is being investigated as arson. Take a look at the scene around 7:30 last night near Admiral and Garnett. Police say the roof of the building was used as storage and it collapsed. You can see the flames right there in that shot. One firefighter went to the hospital with minor injuries. Another was treated for heat exhaustion. Our coverage of news that matters turns now to the coronavirus. For the first time, we have more than 900 people in Oklahoma in the hospital. Here are the latest numbers. The state health department announced more than 1,300 new cases Wednesday and 19 more deaths, bringing the death toll now to 1,210. 4 of the newly reported deaths are in Tulsa County. The CDC has redefined what counts as close contact with someone with COVID-19. For months, they said close contact meant spending a solid 15 minutes within 6 feet of someone who tested positive. Now they're saying if you spend a total of 15 minutes over a 24-hour period, so several close contacts of a couple minutes or more would count and would be a reason for you to get tested. Blue Cross Blue Shield will provide 100,000 free face masks at 10 locations in Oklahoma tomorrow. The company's teaming up with the group Got You Covered. They're handing them out from 10 to 1 tomorrow at the Tandy Family and downtown YMCA locations and at the Tulsa Dream Center. There are also giveaway sites in Bartlesville, Enid, Perry, and Oklahoma City. Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter sent a letter to federal, state, and Native American tribal leaders saying federal prosecutors in Oklahoma are stretched thin and recommending tribes have the option of shared jurisdiction of criminal cases on Indian land. Today, the Oklahoma Commission on Cooperative Sovereignty is expected to talk about this and other issues involving the Supreme Court's McGirt decision, which affected legal jurisdiction on Indian land. Governor Stitt formed the commission to study the criminal, civil, and regulatory impacts. We will have complete coverage of today's meeting and the commission's findings. A Virginia man pleaded guilty to cyber-stalking Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum. In court, via video conferencing, Adam Don admitted sending 44 emails and leaving 14 voicemails for Mayor Bynum and his wife back in June. He admitted making references to the couple's children. Don said he believed the threats could cause the mayor to block President Trump's rally in Tulsa. His sentencing is scheduled for January 25th. A Tulsa restaurant with a long history right next to Fox 23 is no longer standing this morning. Take a look at this. The Fiesta Mexicana Inn near 27th and Memorial came crashing down. There's a look. The building sat vacant for years. Before that, it was the home of Frank's Country Inn, a popular spot in the 70s and 80s, known for their 100-item buffet. Frank's closed in 2004. The Fiesta Mexicana Inn closed shortly after it opened. The property owner says right now they've got no plans for that spot, which is a bummer. A long time ago, there was a Whataburger on that corner, and that would contribute to some unhealthy breakfasts here. We'd like to see something good go in. Meteorologist Megan McClellan's in the Fox 23 Severe Weather Center tracking a warm Thursday ahead.
Definitely warm conditions, and we're already seeing that this morning with temperatures in the 60s and even the 70s, and we have in store for today.
The time now is 4:41.
If approved by the court, will require that the company be dissolved and no longer exist in its present form.
Blame for our nation's opioid crisis. What punishment the pharmaceutical giant agreed to now as part of a major settlement.
It's one of those things where, you know, if you have someone on your right, someone on your left, and someone to lean on, it makes it a little easier.
Remembering the life of a 10-year-old girl who touched so many others in such a short time. We'll take you to last night's emotional ceremony held in Collinsville. National attention for healthcare providers from Tulsa. We're hearing from the local couple honored this week at the World Series.
Jamie Edens and Ryan Ward, a married couple from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So cool. New details this morning as these two traveling nurses from right here in Tulsa got the opportunity of a lifetime. They threw out the first pitch at Game 1 of the World Series this week. Fox 23's Scott Martin has live sharing what a moment this was.
Yeah, Michelle, can you imagine what those two were feeling down on that field with the ball in hand, the glove on his hand? Like, can you imagine just all the emotions, all the thoughts going through their mind for fellow Oklahomans? We're live in Tulsa this morning covering news that matters. I'm Scott Martin, Fox 23 News.
New this morning, we've got another update on Officer R.S. Zarkashan. As you can see, look, he's back with the boys in blue. Zark made an appearance at a squad meeting Wednesday for the first time since June 29th. A TPD officer posted these pictures saying they awarded Zark with the Sergeant Craig Johnson Officer of the Month for September for his strength and perseverance through his recovery. Gosh, you love that so much. The Collinsville community is remembering a young girl gone too soon. We told you Isabella Henderson fought cancer at St. Jude. The 5th grader lost her fight last week. Isabella's family, friends, teachers, and classmates all came together for a moment of prayer and a balloon release last night at Collinsville High School. They tell us this was not a goodbye. They will always hold a place for her in their hearts.
We still love her in our hearts, and we know that she's gone. We know that she's gone, but we will always love her. We will never forget her.
Isabella's mother released the first balloon, followed by dozens of others. During her battle, the Collinsville community came together to support the family with several fundraisers. Isabella's principal says they continue to monitor students and offer care stations. They're taking it one day at a time. So sad. My heart just breaks for her sister and for her family. Meteorologist Megan McClellan is in the Fox 23 Severe Weather Center tracking a warm day ahead. Soak it up because the bottom's going to drop out of the temperatures tomorrow. My goodness.
Right. You'll want to enjoy all the warm, dry, sunny weather that we have today, but also the warm and windy conditions we have for today.
4:50 is the time.
I urge people, when they have an infection, even if they're not going to the hospital, contact our research department. And if you're willing to participate, it'll be a service to your community and humanity.
A new way of treating coronavirus patients, how you can help with research happening right here in Tulsa.
Eggs are one of the most concentrated sources of choline in the American diet, which is crucial for brain development.
Guidance for parents, what I learned about the changes when it comes to feeding your baby eggs. Need a little Harry Potter mania in your life again, where you can go in Tulsa to see one of the classic films on the big screen. 4:54, tomorrow is senior night at Union High School. Seniors left their mark on the brand new stadium. We told you about this. You could see the class of 2021 lined up and then signed their names on a steel beam that will soon go on the stadium's west side as it's topped out. We showed you when crews demolished that side of the stadium back in January to make way for improvements for the home side bleachers.
After everything that COVID's taken away from us last year and this year, I think this is an amazing opportunity to be able to leave our mark on this stadium, even if something small, to know that we played a role in that.
It is so cool. And just think about that. When they grow up and maybe leave Tulsa and come back to visit with their kids, they'll drive by the stadium and tell them my name's up there on that beam. You can see the beam signed in place during tomorrow night's Fox 23 High School Football Game of the Week. Again, it's senior night. Union takes on Norman North. You can help the city of Broken Arrow kick off the holiday season. The city's holding a Light the Tree art contest. Students under 18 can participate. They're looking for artwork that's creative, original, and has a personal touch. The winner will have their art displayed at the Museum Broken Arrow. They'll get to turn on the Rose District's holiday lights this year. That'd be pretty fun. The contest runs through November 9th. You can find all of the details to enter right now on the Rose District Facebook page. Tomorrow, you could get a new cat or dog for your family at a discounted adoption fee rate. The Tulsa SPCA is teaming up with Ferguson Subaru for this special adoption event. Cat adoptions are $25, dog adoptions are $75, and you can check out all of the animals that are currently up for adoption online right now at tulsaspca.org. 4:56 is the time. The search for more victims of the Tulsa race massacre picks back up today. What archaeologists found Wednesday that could bring closure? Epic Charter Schools responds to allegations that could terminate their contract with the state. Why they say the mistakes they made don't warrant such extreme punishment.
And we do have clear skies in place for this morning. I'm tracking how long we'll be able to enjoy that before more clouds roll in coming up in the next half hour.